In this video, I'll be planting this Surinam cherry tree. I purchased this tree from a local nursery in March of 2019. It came in a 10-inch pot and was transplanted to the 15-gallon pot it's in now shortly afterwards. So it's only been in this pot just over a year and a half. This tree has put on a good amount of growth. I'm hoping there won't be any issues as far as it being root bound. This is a large 15-gallon container, so it should be fine. If you've been following my channel, you may have seen my last video where I showed you what the root structure of a fast-growing tree looked like after growing in a small 5-gallon grow bag for over a year. In that video, I was just trying to show how much better grow bags are in keeping roots from becoming root bound in comparison to plastic pots. Although this tree has been in this pot for well over a year, I doubt there will be root circling since this is a large container. I'll show you what the root structure looks like in a few. First, I'd like to show you how I prepped this area for planting. This area used to have a hedge growing here. I cleared out the whole area and dug a couple of holes. On this side, I'll be planting 2 Surinam cherry trees. It was quite a bit of work getting these holes dug. And the dirt was highly compacted, so getting all this dirt out was not an easy task. In this section, I'll be planting 1 tree in this corner. This hole measures about 2.5 feet by 2 feet and is about 3 feet deep. Even at that depth, the ground was still highly compacted. I wound up digging a hole in the center that measured about 6 inches in diameter and about another 2.5 feet deep. At that depth, the soil was not as highly compacted. I've had to do that on all the planting areas in my yard. We get a good amount of rain in my area, and I'd like to have a good drainage for these planting areas in order to avoid any issues with roots during the rainy season. I'll also be placing a perforated 4-inch pipe in this hole, and that will serve as a deep root watering system. I've also done the same for this other hole, which measures about 4 feet by 2 feet, and it's about 3 feet deep. I had to go a little deeper on the center hole for this one before hitting good draining soil, so the center hole is closer to 3 feet. I'll be using some of this native soil and mixing some chicken manure, organic soil mix, cactus soil mix, a little bit of sand. I'll use that soil mix to backfill the holes and prep the area for planting. Before adding the fill dirt, I added some gypsum to the bottom of the holes. I also sprinkled some azomite. I then placed the pipe that will be used for the deep root watering system. I also added some lava rock in the center of the hole in order to ensure the hole will maintain its good drainage after I add the fill dirt. After adding a couple of inches of the amended soil mix, I added a layer of banana leaves and spread some worm castings on top. I repeated this process a couple of times, and on the final one, I also added a little bit more gypsum. After leveling out the planting area, I marked off the area where I intended to plant the trees, and I then dug a hole just deep enough for the planting. I added a little mycorrhiza in the bottom of the hole, and I also placed an egg in the hole. I saw a video where this is considered a good practice to help start off a newly planted tree. I tried this with my fig trees that I planted a few months ago, and they've all done really well, so I thought I'd try it for these as well. Next, I removed the tree from the pot. As I previously mentioned at the opening of this video, I didn't expect to find any root circling in this large container, but as you can see, there is a little bit of circling that's going on. I was a bit surprised to find this much circling for a pot this size, but I guess after a year and a half, for a fast-growing tree, it's probably it's what to be expected. I broke up the dirt on the sides and also cleared the top portion so that the top of the root ball was slightly exposed, and I added some mycorrhiza on top and also on the sides. The rocks you see on the bottom are lava rocks. I always place a layer of lava rocks on the bottom of my container grown trees. I add the rocks in order to help with the drainage. I did remove all the rocks that I could before placing the tree in the hole. I then placed the tree in the planting hole and positioned it so that it was slightly above grade. I then cut some small pieces of wire screen that measured about 4 inches in height and about 55 inches total in length. I placed the screen around the base of the tree, and at this point I usually add some volcanic rock on top and fill the inside screen. Unfortunately, I'm out of volcanic rock. I haven't had a chance to go to a garden center to pick any up, but here's what it should look like when it's done. This is from another tree that I previously planted. All I do is fill the inside screen with rocks. I intend to add wood chips around the area so the screen and rocks will keep the wood chips away from the trunk of the tree. The rocks also serve to help get a little airflow to the top of the root ball, and while still providing some protection to any exposed roots. I've been doing this to just about all of my trees, and they are all doing well. We'll see how they do next season. By then, most of my trees will have been in the ground for at least a year, so we'll see how it works out. So for now, back to this one. I'll finish this off camera by adding just enough soil to cover any exposed roots. As soon as I get a chance to pick up some volcanic rock, I'll come back to this and top it off. Well, that will be it for this video. I hope you enjoyed watching. As always, stay safe, grow your own, and thank you for watching.